Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good. What an amazing Friday, as most of the market is red, coming down from that all time euphoria high of the Federal Reserve announcing that they will be cutting rates in 2024. Palantir is actually green. Palantir is actually flying high. The main reason why Palantir is flying high, and I will share an article with you in just a moment, is that they got a renewal of the Army Vantage contract. You see, back in 2018, the Army had a $458 million Vantage contract with Palantir. Now, this guy, Louis DePalmer, whatever this schmuck is, that gave us a gift around 2 weeks ago when Palantir dropped around 9.5% for the day. I believe it was a Monday. Well, he said that Palantir might not be getting this full contract, that it might be given to several different contractors, or that Palantir might not be getting the contract altogether. Well, it turns out that he was absolutely freaking wrong, and they renewed the contract for 1 year with Palantir for just north of $115 million. If you take the 458 million, you divide it by 4, 115 million is plus or minus a few million, right on line with how much they needed to make per year. Personally, I rather have a $115 million contract over 1 year than a $458 million contract over 4 years. The reason why is Palantir probably set them up, and now they're doing a lot of maintenance with them. Maybe the United States Army don't know what direction they're going to be going in the future, and they need just a 1 year buffer. We see this time and time again with many different government agencies, including the NHS. Remember, they got like 2 or 3 postponements, 2 or 3 additional 6-month and 1 year extensions with Palantir before they gave them the final contract. At the end of the day, I don't think this is bad for Palantir. I think this is amazing for Palantir. And I think that the markets didn't expect it or didn't expect the headlines. And that's why earlier today, Palantir was at like $19.10, if I'm not mistaken. And right now it's trading right around $18.70 last time I checked. At the end of the day, this is fantastic for Palantir. I'm going to read you the article right now. Then I'm going to give you another piece of news, a connection for AIP Bootcamp and an oil provider working with Palantir. And then I'm going to go over the price charts. And then I'm going to give you what I am doing with Palantir, what I think is going to be happening with Palantir. So if this is something that you like, sit back, relax, enjoy the video, shoot me a comment down below. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments of contribution, I would greatly appreciate it. Take a look. Palantir extends work to power the United States Army Vantage program. Denver, Palantir, Colorado today announces the extension of the pivotal partnership with the U.S. Army. The partnership is going to be for a total contract inclusive of options is $115.04 million. They gave them 97.35 up front, and the rest of the 18 million or so is going to be given as inclusive of options, right? Now, this number right here, 35.6 million, is obligated based on the original $458 million Vantage contract. Palantir Research actually did a ridiculous video where he broke down how much payments were made for the 458, and there was around 120 million or so that was unaccounted for. He actually accounted for everything minus this final 35.6 million, which they just announced in this contract. So it's absolutely freaking amazing. Now, this is on the back of Shyam Sankar literally coming out a week ago to clarify what Louis DePalmer said about Palantir. I'll get into that in just a moment. And I quote, Palantir is honored to extend our work with the U.S. Army as it evolves into the Army Data Platform solution. Under the extended contract, Palantir will continue to provide its open data and analytics platform through continuous delivery to provide new AI-enabled capabilities and open platform infrastructure to promote the program's evolution to the Army Data Platform vision. This extension is a testament to Palantir's continued success in empowering U.S. military decision makers with actionable insights and advanced analytic capabilities through the delivery of a secure and open data environment. This is why I don't mind that it's a 1-year contract, because I honestly think this is going to lead to an extension that is going to be more than $115 million over the course of 12 months when it's time to extend. I think they're building a bigger platform than we know of. And I quote, Palantir is honored to extend our work with the U.S. Army as it evolves its data platform solution, said Akash Jain, president of Palantir's USG. Building on our shared history of operational excellence and innovation, our partnership has consistently provided the Army with a decisive edge in data-driven decision-making. This extension is evidence of the value we bring to the nation's defense, including our joint efforts to provide more commercial technology providers the opportunity to equip soldiers with innovation they need to meet their most pressing challenges. Let's read that one more time. This extension is evidence of the value that we bring to the nation's defense, including our joint efforts to provide more commercial technology providers. They're literally talking about the FedRAMP, where they are allowing smaller contractors to work with the U.S. military faster, cheaper, and more fluidly, where essentially Palantir it's your auditor. This on top of Palantir Apollo, they're trying to be the AWS for government contracting. It's really, really massive, this statement that I guarantee you 99% of the people are not going to get this statement. Now, what's really cool is this right here. Shout out to Chad Palantir. Everybody should definitely be following this guy right here. He comes out with absolute bangers. It's at Palantir Chad. Really funny name, really cool, awesome. And I am privileged because he follows me as well. Palantir, Raymond James analyst Brian Gisole called the extension a chill pill, literally quotations, chill pill for the bears who had worried about the future of this contract in recent weeks. And I quote, all in, the win is in line with our expectations and provides the Army another year to formalize structure for a successor multi-vendor contract, he wrote in a note to clients. It was odd that the Army reconfirming the multi-vendor approach last week was interpreted as an incremental negative. Then the Army has to clear that up. He added, in his view, the win was clearly positive. One of the company's larger awards is incremental versus 2023 levels, and the probability of a win was not 100%. Giselle rates the stock at outperform. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with what happened, shout out to Crossroads. This is what I'm talking about. Palantir is down 8%, while a lot may be noise, which is possibly a factor as well regarding the Army data platform up for renewal in 2 weeks. If there's uncertainty, that's usually not good for the ticker, but I have no concerns personally. Shout out to Crossroads. I had no concern either. I was making money on that day, playing around with Palantir. I think I did some call options, whatever. And then Shyam actually clarified this. The U.S. Army had corrected the record that Louis De Palma got wrong. And this is just, to be clear, we're satisfied with the Army Vantage program, its IP contract language, its open data environment to facilitate Army collaboration, so on and so forth. But this is the first time, essentially, the number 2 of Palantir, they don't really care too much about analysts. I think they're starting to play the game more. But the number 2 of Palantir, Shyam Sankar, literally came out, called this fool by his name, and this guy is shitting on Palantir. I think his rating for Palantir is like $5. Like, he's 0 for 10 or something like this of every single time. He's like, Palantir is going to tank, and nothing ends up happening. And he actually came out to clarify this, which is really good because it shows that Palantir leadership is playing the game. Palantir leadership is really pushing the envelope. Shout out to him. Now, there's another person, Lord Grimm. I keep telling you guys, at Lord_HERUGRIM. He's a must follow in Palantir community. So there's a company called Citigo Petroleum Corporation. And Citigo Petroleum Corporation just had an AIP bootcamp participation. So you see this guy, senior software engineer at Citigo Petroleum. I don't really see the guy's name, but it says AIP bootcamp participant from Palantir Technologies. And then Matthew Babin, who's head of energy and natural resources at Palantir, and this would be like his division. I was impressed with what you built on Tuesday and can't wait to see what you build next. Hopefully, this is going to transform to an actual client. And as you know, we work with BP, and BP actually at one point bought 1% of Palantir because we were just so good. Citigo Petroleum Corporation is a recognized leader in refining industry and operates under the well-known Citigo brand. wholly and or jointly owns 37 active terminals, 6 pipelines, and 3 lubricants, blending and packaging plants. So I just want to do a little bit of technical and just go over the price really fast. So Palantir right now is actually at $18.30. It's now up around 0.5%, but for the day, it actually had a really, really good day. Like I said, at one point it was like $19.10. Yeah, right here, $19.09, $19.11. And it actually came down right now. I honestly don't mind personally, and I will explain to you why. As always, my technique is selling covered calls, selling cash secured puts. If I have to actually assign my shares and I have to sell my actual shares, then I'm going to do a cash secured put. And if my cash secured put, I have to buy the shares, then I'm going to sell a cash covered call, rinse and repeat. And this is how I make low 5 figures every single week, the 5, 6, 7, 10 plus grand. Like this last week, I think I made like 12 or 13,000 doing this strategy, which I'll show you in just a moment, that most people don't care about. All right. This is Palantir right now. This is some very basic technical analysis. This is not high level like Jesse, but this is probably as high level as most people will be able to comprehend. This is called a Bollinger Band. This is standard 2 deviations up, standard 2 deviations down. This little orange line right here is the 30-day moving average. The more volatile the shares, the higher these bands are going to be, the distance between bands. The lower the volatility, the closer the bands are going to be. For example, over here, we had very, very low volatility. A Palantir was moving. This was back in last year. And as you see, the Bollinger Bands were super tight. Then we have this crazy volatility right now where you have all of these swings and the Bollinger Bands become a lot bigger, specifically with what currently happened with Palantir. Now, you can see this as a median, right? This line right here is the median. This is for the last 30 days. This is a median right here. So we're right at $19. So we are currently trading right around the middle. So Palantir strength can go up, Palantir strength can go down. It can go either direction. If you go to the RSI, Relative Strength Index, the Relative Strength Index is right at 50, right in the middle. Under 30 is oversold. Over 70 is overbought. And right now, Palantir is right in the middle. Even the RSI, Relative Strength Index, is literally touching and hugging the RSI moving average. This is the average again. So right now, this is also neutral. So the price is neutral, the Bollinger Bands is neutral, the RSI is neutral, and the MACD seems to be neutralish as well. So all in all, right now, you don't know what to do with Palantir. So you can buy, you could hold, you could trade, you could sell. Personally, I do the wheel strategy where I sell covered calls and I sell cash secured puts. I am the bank. Now, I will show you a quick trade. Guys, this is one of my trades that I did, I believe, either Friday last week or Monday this week. So this is a 1-week trade. And what I'm saying is that by the end of today, I'm willing to sell my shares of Palantir for $19 if they hit $19. It looks like they will not be $19 by the end of the day. That's actually good for me. And I collect my credit. How much did I collect? Well, I collected $1,440. All right. And this was the play literally right here. I did the play. I sold 96 contracts, which is for 9,600 shares, saying that I would sell them at $19. I ended up collecting my 15 cents per share. That came out to be $1,440. And guess what? Right now, this play is essentially going to be worthless. I can roll this position if I wanted to. This is called a roll, guys. When your contract is under fire, maybe you're about to be assigned, or maybe it's the end of the week and you know that this contract is going to be worthless, or maybe the contract is not worthless and it's valuable, you can roll the contract. The reason I'm showing you this is just to show you my strategy. Most YouTubers don't show you strategy. Most YouTubers never made money in their life. Very few of them can actually show you trades of them making money. There's a little button right there that says roll this option. It's very, very simple. When you press roll the option, automatically the expiration date is going to be moved 1 week further. You can change this to any date that you want, but let's just keep it 1 week further. So right now I have a $19 covered call. I'm saying that I'm willing to sell for $19 if it hits $19. Okay, fantastic. Let's say right now I am still willing to sell for $19, but I'm willing to sell this next week. Well, over here on the top right, you have 2 cents. So my contracts are currently worth 2 cents. If I click on this, they will take 31 cents that they're going to give me, which is going to be my credit, and they will debit the 2 cents for a net credit of 29 cents. So if I roll this contract and say that I'm willing to sell my shares at $19, by next week, I will collect $2,784 today. On Monday, this is the dilemma. On Monday, I will collect less time value. There is something called theta decay. This is theta decay. And this means that I lose this amount off of this contract every single day. So I will lose more theta decay on Monday. Also, right now, the implied volatility is pretty even. It's 57.56%. This is something called a vega. Vega moves for every percent that implied volatility moves. So this contract actually is pretty decent. In reality, you would want to sell it when the implied volatility would be like 100%. This would be beautiful. The higher the implied volatility, the better it is for you as the seller. The higher implied volatility, the worse it is for you as a buyer, and vice versa. So I can wait until Monday to see what's going to happen. Maybe the price on Monday is going to be higher than 1830. Maybe the price on Monday is going to be lower than 1830. In theory, if the price was 1850 right now, that would be better for me, and I would end up collecting more premium, for example, on Monday. If it's going to be less than 1850 or where it is right now, I would be collecting less premium probably than I would be today. So that's the dilemma. Do I let this just ride out until the end of the day and do nothing and then reopen this on Monday? Or do I push this forward for 1 week? If I think that the price on Monday is going to be higher than 1830, well, then probably it's better for me to wait until Monday because I will collect a much higher premium. Again, if it will be higher than 1850 on Monday, I will probably collect more than 31 cents if I'm still selling for $19. If I think that the price of Palantir is going to be lower on Monday, for example, $18, then I will be collecting a smaller premium. And everything is in 50-cent increments, essentially 19, 1850, 18, so on and so forth. Those are magic numbers. Let me show you another place. So this is called a covered call, where I am covering somebody's call. I'm willing to sell you the shares. I am the bank. There is something called a stranglehold. You are strangling. And a strangling hold means that you think that something is going to be in the tunnel, in the level. It's going to be in a controlled environment, a corridor, whatever you want to call it, where you are selling covered calls at, let's say, $19. You're also doing cash secured puts. Let's say it's $17 when the price of Palantir was $18. This is exactly what I did last week, earlier on Monday. I think on Friday, I opened up a cash secured put, and I think that on Monday, I did a covered call, and I'm strangling it. As long as Palantir was above $17 and below $19, I made a shit ton of bank. Check it out. This is the play where I did a cash secured put for Palantir. I did the cash secured put last week. I'm saying that I am willing to buy Palantir at $17 on or before 12/15 if it hits $17 or less. Palantir currently is not under $17, and this contract is all but worthless. It's worth 1 penny. The lowest the contract will be prior to the actual expiration is 1 penny. It has to have some type of value. If I go a little bit lower and you guys want to see exactly what I did, this was the play right here. I ended up doing this on December 6th. I ended up doing 200 contracts, which means that I locked up 20,000 shares. I'm saying that I will buy 20,000 shares. For this, I got a 50-cent premium or $10,000. So between this $10,000 and the covered call, I ended up making around $11,400 and change. Let's call it $11,500, literally in a week of time. And I'm literally going to do the same exact thing. Either today I'm going to roll it or I'm going to do it on Monday. If you are rolling a contract, right now it is 2 o'clock. If you want to roll a contract, it's probably better to do under 2 o'clock. I noticed that 2 o'clock is the cutoff point. So now, if you want to roll this one, you press roll this contract. And if I go a little bit lower right here, I can roll this for next week. Now, I can roll this same $17 contract if I click on this right here. By the way, there's going to be a little delta over here. The delta is 0.17. That means whoever is buying this contract has a 17% chance that it will actually be assigned, that they will be in the money, and they will be able to sell me their shares for $17, which means that I have approximately a 83% chance that Palantir will not be $17 and I will just collect my premium. Okay, if I click on this right now, I would collect 12 cents. The contract is worth 1 cent. I would collect 12 cents. So I would collect around $2,200. Now, last week I collected $11,150. This week, if I was just literally to roll the same exact contracts, I would collect $2,200. And this is my 19. I would roll the 19. And I would roll it, let's say, for 19 as well. Continue. So then I will collect 3,000 here. So I wouldn't be making $11,500. I would end up making around $5,500 this week. Now, yeah, it's around half of what I made last week, but think about that. Just think about that. That's another $5,500 this week for doing what? Being the bank? Worst case scenario, I sell shares of Palantir for 19. Worst case scenario, I buy shares of Palantir for 17. And worst case scenario, if I really want to get out of these contracts, I could just roll out of them. Earlier today, it was past $19. That $19 sell was valued very, very high. And if I wanted to roll out of this, it would cost me dearly. What did I do? I sat back, I relaxed, I chilled, and I bought myself some time. And lo and behold, Palantir ended up going down. The reason why I like these contracts, the reason why I like this range of $17, $19 or $16 and $20, something like this, is because of the technicals that I just showed you. The technicals are showing me that Palantir is not weak and Palantir is not strong. Palantir is right now in a corridor. It can go up, it can go down. And although Palantir is extremely bullish in the next quarter, I wouldn't be doing this right before earnings, by the way. Palantir also has a gap to fill in the technicals right around that $15 and change. Doesn't mean it will hit it, but mostly we do go back to fill gaps. Now, the Vantage program is gone. The Titan program we're not going to get until sometime in first quarter. S&P 500, we know that we're included, but it hasn't been announced. What other information can we get for Palantir in the next 2 weeks before the end of the year? I mean, yeah, anything can happen. Anything can come out of thin air. But in reality, nothing. Federal Reserve already had their meeting. That's why I really like this corridor price of Palantir. Now, I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you to sell. I'm not telling you to trade. I'm not telling you none of that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube. This is purely education and entertainment. And at the end of the day, don't do my moves. Figure out what's good for you. Figure out your own plays. A lot of you guys know Jesse. Jesse is a technical analysis wizard. He's fantastic for long options, and he actually beats the market because most people on long options, which means that you are a buyer of options, tend to lose money. I took a lot of stuff, a lot of the technicals that he shows. I learned it. I went some back and forth with him. Thank you so much, Jesse. And by the way, this is his Twitter page. This is Jesse right here at micro to macro 0. He's absolutely killing it. If I'm not mistaken, he's up like $2 million in the last 2 weeks. And he shows all of his plays. He is absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to Jesse. So most people are just blindly following Jesse, and a lot of people are making good money. But for me personally, I want to learn what he's doing and see if I can use the technique to come up with my own game plan. A lot of my plays are Jesse plays, but then a lot of my plays I do that are completely 100% my own. And all the technical analysis that he shows, I probably learned maybe 1% of the technical analysis that he does, but that's probably a shit ton more than most people will ever learn in their entire life. And it bodes well for me. It helps me out. So I 100% ask you to learn these things. There's a lot of money to be made in stocks besides for just buying, holding, so on and so forth. With that said, thank you so much. Usually these videos don't do good when I show actual money making and people just want to know, hey, to the moon. So I hope you guys, hey, to the moon this weekend. Everybody have a great one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.